That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5. Oh yeah, folks. In honor of Nickelodeon, specifically the NickToons, reaching their 30th anniversary, we thought we'd talk
We're
about something.
old.
You're old, dude. A little SpongeBob funny there, but no, in all seriousness. So NickToons have turned 30 years old, and of course, specifically the original three. And of the original three, you of course have Ren and Stimpy, which very notably includes Powdered Toast Man. And serendipity's sake, a remarkable filmmaker has made something in conjunction with Powdered Toast Man, which kind of scratches that itch we want to talk about. So we thought, let's talk about this wonderful fan film. And hey, once more, let's bring on the wonderful people that made it happen, both in the comments and on the stream. So without further ado, let's welcome them.
Hi.
The wonderful
Hello.
Chris.R. Notarile and Tom, you guessed it, Poprovsky.
Very nice.
There's a guys.
All
It's
right.
an honor to have both of you on. I'm so happy I could bust. I love having you guys here.
Yeah, Chris surprised us like 10 minutes before we went on air. Like, hey, by the way, you don't just get me, you get Powdered Toast
Well,
Man
no, because
himself.
Dragon had messaged me the other night, and he's just like, "Hey, do you think Tom would want to do it?" And I'm thinking to myself, Tom probably doesn't have the tech to pull it off, and I didn't want to bother him. And then I'm sitting around today. I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna make him come over here anyway." So I want to hang out with him. So I'm like, "Tom, what are you doing? Get over here!" And he's like,
Nice.
"All right."
Nothing.
Well, happy to have you on board, Tom. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, big fan of Tom's work. For those who may not be aware, Tom has also played in the other Blinky productions. He has played famously The Tick and Thomas Wayne Batman, two opposite ends of the scale that somehow work tremendously
right,
well.
Right.
It's mostly when Chris can get me into spandex in some ridiculous costume.
Yeah.
You wear it well, sir.
All right, so this is, of course, I feel like this is very much a signature product of the Blinky500 style, Chris, because like one of the mission statements I know you for is really trying to kind of take fan films that are like you don't necessarily see fan films for these properties. Like, don't get me wrong, you do the Deadpools and you do the Powerpuff Girls, hint, hint. And you do them well, you do them great, but I feel like one of your specialties is, the more obscure properties, the Scary Terrys of the world, and so on.
Pretty much. I have this desire to basically give a little bit of credit to some of the more unsung characters that are out there. Also, I like being the first to doing something, and having that honor is really cool. So, everybody does a Batman fan film, myself included, but how many people can say they've made a Powdered Toast Man movie?
Right. So that is very much, to me, kind of like one of the big linchpins of why I'm a fan of your work. And speaking of which, Chris, you've got a future project in development, and let me tell you, man, I am personally stoked for it. I'm really pulling for it.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell the good folks?
Yes, we are going to be doing a Space Ghost movie. And it's the first live action Space Ghost anything, actually. I was checking. There's nothing apart
that
from like
kind of blows me away. I mean, it's like the only thing I can think of is like in Space Ghost Coast to Coast, they had that guy dressed up as Space Ghost for those.
That's it. That's literally
it. That's literally it.
So I was kind of happy to once again be the first person to, do something with it. That always makes me feel good about myself. And we're gonna do like just a very serious version of Space Ghost. Like, what if someone decided? Because there in the mid 2000s, there was the graphic novel in which we go into his origins. That was a very dark and serious book, and I just thought it was a really cool idea. So I kind of want to just build on that. Now I'm not doing anything from that particular story, but I'd really like the idea of just like a very serious interstellar crime fighter.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Space Ghost, I feel like, is one of the forefathers of adult animation for Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
But like people don't really even. I feel like a lot of people don't even know that the original show he was in. I mean, it was Hanna-Barbera goofiness, but
I mean, it was 30 years after the fact at the time. If Coast to Coast was happening in the 2000, 2001, that's already 35 years since it originally came out.
So, I know for a fact my dad grew up on the original Space Ghost. Like
most people's dads did.
Yeah, for sure. It was, but I'm saying like he went like I very vividly remember him going on about like how much of a fan he was of Space Ghost. Like it was Space Ghost and Johnny Test for him. Those were his big two.
Johnny Quest.
Wrong.
Did I just say Johnny
Test?
Test?
You said the wrong one.
I am so sorry, dear God.
Wow,
there's a big difference.
Card, man.
To steer it back to the Space Ghost for a second, the original one, big thing Space Ghost has. I mean, of course, there's like a whole generation that knows it for Coast to Coast, but going to the original, you have the connection to Batman the Animated Series. The Alex Toth style is a big influence. That kind of that mix with Fleischer Superman. So the Space Ghost will always kind of have that indelible, like, why is this familiar effect on people?
Also, I have to say the design is really good. The design of Space Ghost has not aged at all. It's still a solid costume.
Yeah.
There's nothing on it that's like, Superman having red underwear, for example. He didn't have that. He didn't have any boots. He didn't have any weird gimmicks. And the color scheme, red or white primarily, then red, black, and yellow. Just a solid design still to this day. And again, nothing goofy with the mask or whatever. It's just very straightforward.
Yeah, I've seen paintings of Space Ghost that just look beautiful to me. They look
the Alex Ross stuff is awesome.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with Alex Ross, so let's be honest. But yeah.
All right, so folks, the link is in the description for that if you want to help out with the GoFundMe. I am personally stoked. I would very much suggest that you guys do so if you have any attachments to the character at all. I have 100% confidence in this team to pull it off.
It could not be in better hands, truly. And plus, again,
you want me to give you a little elevator pitch on what's going on?
Please do.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
So we're going to do, like I said, a serious story. The villain will be Brack.
Oh, yes, that's what I like.
That's what I'm really excited to see, by the way, represented in the Blinky production style.
I'm going to treat Brack kind of like Sabretooth from X-Men Origins.
Okay.
So he's going to be articulate, but he's going to be feral.
Yeah, the little driver.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I like that.
And he's going to have a little bit more of a grittier, tribalistic look to him as opposed to, being in thigh-high boots and red gloves.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Space Ghost costume is going to be, instead of a white suit, it's going to be silver. So it'll be more reflective and everything's going to basically look, as far as I can tell, shinier, but at the same time dark, because if you've ever seen like silver material and dark lighting, it's pretty cool looking,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the basically Space Ghost is hunting Brack after killing his brother Sisto, and Brack, of course, is pretty pissed off about that.
As one would be.
Yeah.
All right, I'm pretty excited for that. I mean, Brack alone just makes me like that raises my excitement level for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to treat like I want to treat Brack the way I treated Mad Harriet in my Big Barter short.
I was so hoping you were gonna say that, Chris, and you did. I'm so happy.
Okay, then you know exactly where I'm gonna go with the character. Basically,
it's gonna be awesome.
All right. Okay, so let's get to the short at hand. So, Chris, why don't you weave us the tale of how this came about?
Okay, this actually came about from AJ Zyla, who is in the comments right now.
AJ.
Every now and then on my channel and on my Facebook, I say, "Hey guys, what should I do next? Post your comments below." And AJ, I believe, said, "Do Powdered Toast Man," and I'm like, "That'd be a really, really wild thing to do." But hey, you fund it, I film it, and he's just like, "I will." I'm like, what? He goes, no, I seriously will. I'm like, okay, all right, bet, dude, bet. So I made the GoFundMe, and he pretty much like funded at least half of the project.
Wow, nice.
And I was like, all right, man, we're going through this. If you're dead on, you're serious, fine. I'm not gonna let you down. So then I was met with the daunting task of, fuck, what do I do now? Because
I promised a man a guy with toast for head. How do I do that?
Because, all right, so usually I think to myself, what am I going to do? And I take the suggestion. Someone gives me a suggestion, and it's a character that I either like or I find challenging. And then I have to then go, all right, now what's the fucking story? Because I don't have one yet. So I have to now sit there and think. And I was going through all the appearances, and I'm like, all right, well, there's the standard commercial where he shows up, and that's his first appearance. Then there was the episode where he basically like became the president because the president got his dick stuck in a zipper.
Yep.
Then there was the episode where he fought Waffle Woman and basically destroyed the entire fucking planet. Then he was like a preacher, and there's just a whole lot of things to choose from. And I'm like, I originally said, well, let's try Waffle Woman. Let's see what I could do with her. And then I realized I can't, because it's going to be too much. If you have two characters with these power sets and they're going after each other, I can't blow up the planet. That's going to be stupid. I live there. So, it's got all my stuff in it. So I'm not going to blow up the Earth.
I got to admit, though, I think Lindsay would have made an excellent Waffle Woman, though.
I asked her about that, and I don't think she was up for it personally.
That's fair.
She's having hot girl summer right now. So anyway, I basically said, all right, what can I do? And then I go, all right, what is one of the staples that have been in a lot of the Powdered Toast Man things? And there was always Little Johnny. He was the one that they were fighting over in the Waffle Woman episode. I go, okay, that was 30 years ago. What's Little Johnny up to now? And then I started thinking about, like, how does Ren and Stimpy portray adults? And there's the lummox, And I kind of thought, what if Little Johnny grew up to be a lummox? So I thought of my friend Paul, who, as much as I love, has, lummoxy features. Paul, if you hear this, I'm sorry, but, you're a big, hairy guy, man. I have to shave you often. So he gets it. And then the idea of, all right, well, what if Little Johnny actually had to go? Like, how does Little Johnny function in reality now? Oh, he went to therapy, and that's kind of where the story went, that he just thought Powdered Toast Man was this hallucination that he had as a child to somehow justify all the horrors that he witnessed, and then realizing that, he let the genie out the bottle, that Powdered Toast Man is real. I think makes for a funny story.
And you definitely framed it in a horror movie style, which I mean, it absolutely.
Yeah, no, it needed to go there, and that was in the very beginning. I go, this needs to be scary as all hell, because if you actually stop to look at some of the themes that are explored in Ren and Stimpy, they're horrifying in general. When Ren and Stimpy first meet like Mr. Horse, he's got like rubber nipples on, like a cap on his head. He's in a diaper, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like. It's scary. So I'm like, all right.
Call the police.
But yeah, call the police.
Oh, God.
But the kids love it. I ate that shit up as a kid. I was watching. I thought it was funny. I don't know why it's funny, but it's just funny because it's just over the top and stupid. So I decided to embrace that. And when I realized, all right, well, seeing a giant human with bread for a head has to be pretty freaky. What does Powdered Toast Man want in this scenario? And obviously he wants to relive the glory days with the grown-ass man who wants nothing to do with him. And when you're a giant, character like Powdered Toast Man who can't take a fucking hint, well, the only logical way to go is to remove anything that's getting in your way.
He values breakfast amongst anything else.
Yeah. So, the story was always going to go a dark fucking route fast, because I remember I pitched you guys it a while back when we were talking about Rick and Morty. I go, this is going to be a fucked up story. I was never going to like shy away from it. I go, I want to go full messed up when you watch this. I want you to watch this.
I vividly remember.
I was so hyped when you told me just basically the plot synopses. It was just like, oh my god, this sounds amazing. There
are literally people who messaged me and said, I've been having nightmares of Powdered Toast Man now because of you.
You've made it, Chris.
I don't know who the fuck Powdered Toast Man is, but I watched that and now I'm like terrified. And I'm like, good, yes, excellent.
So that's the
Your
blinky
fear,
magic right there.
It's my lubricant.
It's your lubricant.
Wow. No. Your tears will be my lotion. Your misery, my lubricant. I don't know.
All right.
That's what we were saying when we were filming it too. I mean,
Right.
Yeah, we had a lot of lubricant.
Yeah. Tom, why don't you tell him about the costume?
Oh, where do I begin? I mean, well, the onesie that I get to wear is just lovely. And
Side note, the onesie is actually the same onesie from my Gort short, so
Yeah.
it's the Gort costume.
It's the Gort
Yeah,
costume.
it looks like the same color. Yeah.
It is.
And to say I sweat like a pig
Is an understatement.
is an understatement. And so
We had to give him padding on top of it.
yeah,
He's sweating through padding.
Sweating through padding.
Oh,
And
God.
then you put, because what happened with the mask, with the headpiece, it went through some different
Well,
carnation, I guess.
originally,
Yeah.
what we wanted to do was I had a cardboard headpiece, and I was going to try
Synchrovox it.
and to superimpose Tom's face onto it in an enlarged sense. But because, and I should have watched this documentary. I watched the documentary on the Haunted Mansion, how they were getting the woman's head for the crystal ball.
Mhm.
They had to build a
yeah,
brace for
yeah.
her so she wouldn't move, so they could superimpose it through a projector. I should have put Tom in a fucking head cast because I was having him stand, and I forgot that he's moving his head. It just did not work. So we actually had to go back and refilm all of Tom's scenes afterwards.
You could have put me in a head cast. You know that, right? I'm pretty patient about
Well,
it.
next time I will. But yeah, that was my mistake. But yeah, so we had so every scene with Paul, who was playing Little Johnny, anytime we cut back to Tom, it's literally like a week later or 2 weeks later, depending, because we had to do a couple of pickups as well. But there are no shots of his original mask in the movie. So yeah, it was a nightmare.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember. So there is actually one existing shot, I think, of that technique at play with one of the posters you put out, where you have his face superimposed on it.
Yeah, but that was just simple Photoshop. It was so much easier because you're just Photoshopping it. And I was originally marketing as that. And then I realized how obnoxious and hard it was because I tried to just do one single shot and it was not working because he was moving and I couldn't manage to make it still. And I'm like, I don't want to do this for the whole goddamn film because I have to key out. I have to every single time he moves his head, even a fraction. I didn't have the patience for it. So I said, you know what? Fuck it, Tom. Come back over. We're doing it again.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when he first showed me the costume. It's like, and here, because I grew up with, I was in my 20s watching Ren and Stimpy, and I love that sense of humor. It's just so absurd. And then, oh, and here's the gray onesie, and here's the blue gloves. Oh, and here's the Speedo. I just put the PTM on there. So, and then I do a lot of cosplay. So I had boots, and we spray painted the boots and all that fun stuff. But the one thing, and I would recommend this for anyone who does cosplay, if they don't know it already, wear a damn dance belt. Because really, you don't need to see the religion of the person who's wearing the Speedo. It's just not necessary. So you got to put the right undergarments on there.
We actually stuffed the crap out of you for this one.
Then on top of everything I had on, then we get the Powder Toast Man trunks on. And I had like 2 tube socks. And it's like, we're behind the scenes positioning the tube socks, so it's
we needed
perfect.
the bulge to be just right.
Yes, and it needed to be very
basically something vaguely like the ambiguously gay duo from the Dana Carvey show, a little bit like.
Yes, and it just where an actor can go from there when you give him that and saying, "Oh, by the way, you're going to pull Little Johnny to your crotch."
Oh, God.
And it's one of those director's notes that you hope to get, right? Because it's like I love the straight-faced humor, and I could say straight-faced no matter what you're saying to me, and the way that Paul went with it and just totally worked it. I mean,
well, the look of pure
yes,
terror that
yes.
he gives when he looks up, I thought, because we had to block it. So we had to first have him get his beats where he's got his head in his hands. Then he looks up. The bulge is right there. Then he looks up at Powder Toastman to make eye contact, and it's just purely terrifying. And then the hands come around and pull him in. And mind you, we didn't do that in one take. We took our time and did a lot of takes because the reaction needed to be just right. So Paul was bathed in Poprovsky.
He needs like a snorkel. He needs to get some air.
Oh God, yeah, he was gargling that day.
That, and then probably for me, one of the funniest stills that came out of it that Chris was able to find was when little Johnny comes down the stairs.
Oh yeah,
and there's Powder Toast Man standing there, and it's like we were playing around with these different kind of stances, and I do the one where I kind of slump my shoulders over, and then put my hands straight down to my side and just look with these big creepy eyes.
Yeah, because I didn't want him to be standing heroically. I wanted it to be like you just walk in on the room and someone's just kind of standing there, but they're off kilter, and and that obviously that image has terrified people because he's got this big smile on his face, but he's not moving. It's just like, I saved you, little Johnny. Like I wanted everything to just get soft and smooth and just very, it's okay.
The outside of that, the moment that really was disquieting for me was just the scream when he reacts to yeah. Okay. Yeah. So please tell me about that. That was glorious.
That was a little homage to the original.
Well, I wanted that in there, but you made the noise yourself.
Yeah.
I thought it'd just be really funny and out of nowhere if when wife, played by Lindsay Bean, walks in, sees him, because up until this point, you could debate whether or not Powder Toast Man was real. Is this yet another hallucination? But having wife come in and seeing it, you're like, oh shit, it's fucking real. And then he just does that Invasion of the Body Snatchers scream.
Right.
It's just like, oh crap, this is really gonna get dark.
There were so many comments like, did he eat her?
To me, that scream was like, it kind of like represent, like I almost kind of read it as like he's screaming at her because he's like, oh my God, you've seen through the veil.
It was definitely one of those "you're not supposed to be here" screams.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It kind of, here's the weird analogy I have for it. Kind of remind me, like, as a more over-the-top horrific bit version of the scene from Back to the Future 2 when the two Jennifers see each other. Or the whole like, I'm young, you're old.
No, I see where you're going with that. This is definitely straight up Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Just that combined with the stakes that were already set in the short of this whole, is it real? Is it not real? Is little Johnny schizophrenic? Because, Powder Toast Man's pretty loud. And then, babe, are you talking to somebody? And then he just, but the no music, he just kind of turns around like, huh, who's there? And then she's just like staring at him, and the deadpan reaction to the scream with the finger coming up with the rising crescendo of the track at that point, I thought was pretty bonkers.
Well, and also great. The funny thing, you probably listening to the scream, it's kind of a reverse scream.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not blowing air out.
Yeah, you're inhaling and not exhaling.
Right. I did notice that. Yeah.
It makes for such a creepy sound. You add to the fact that I'm dressed up like a giant piece of toast, on my head, and then doing the slow finger.
Yeah,
it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger's breakfast.
Right.
The breakfast of champions.
All right. So I think it kind of covers. At least anything else we'll just kind of bring up as we go along. Yeah. So let's start off with the narrator.
That was me.
Never would have guessed.
I actually reached out to Billy West and asked if he'd want to do the narrator, but I never heard back from him, so I was kind of bummed out about that. So I was trying my hardest to do my best version of his narrator, specifically from the the Space Madness episode.
Yeah.
Can he stop it? Will he stop it? Will he just the shiny red button?
Go in the full bulldozer, yeah.
Yeah.
So of course we start with like this really impressive shot. I assume it's a drone shot.
It's not mine. I googled it and I got it.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no.
It does come together really nicely.
Yeah, it
though.
comes together
Does.
really
I
well.
just wanted a nice shot
props.
of suburbia, so I looked up
Yeah.
suburban drone footage, and it was royalty free, and I used it. I'm like, okay, cool. This saves me a lot of trouble.
Well, I mean, I think it works. It establishes the tone. I think it plays I think it plays totally well.
Of course, for what it's worth, I do appreciate that you did reach out to Billy West. Just you kind of took the extra mile, even though it's never going to appear on screen. I like that.
Well, I mean, I got Tom Kane to do Michael Myers or Dr. Loomis for me back in 2007. So it's just like sometimes you just got to ask people, and sometimes they say yes.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Billy doesn't check his email a lot. Maybe he's busy. I mean, who knows? So I figured I might as well at least try. But I didn't hear back from him. I laid down my track as it was, so in case he said no, at least there was me trying to do an impression of him. And I just really wanted to stick with that whole obnoxious, berating narrator that just is abusive.
Like the one, on top of Stimpy's body, where he's like about to push a button, like trying butt slamming him, like hit the button.
Yeah.
But here's what's funny though. Like, I think your cadence is perfect. That it is exactly like that announcer. If only it were a little deeper, it'd be full on like 100%.
Well, the problem was Billy has a barrel chest as he's described it over the years, so he's able to get more of a resonance with his voice. For me, I had to go up into a nasal voice to get him and doing the cadence. I wasn't able to get the way that he kind of talks like this in that tone. It wasn't working for me because I'm not built like he is.
Sure. All right, but yeah, so the announcer, I mean, with the suburbia and the overhead shot, basically as we're tracking to the house, the announcer overall, he kind of sets the tone of, it's been a while, and and it's kind of the really cool thing about the short, where kind of in the kind of heady meta contextual, we are revisiting our nostalgia 30 years later.
You guys remember when Beavis and Butthead came back like 10 years ago?
Oh God, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I remember it being really unmemorable.
Nowhere. And they started putting out like some Beavis and Butthead episodes as if no time had passed. And I kind of like that approach. It's just like, hey guys, here's a new episode of Beavis and Butthead.
Uh-huh.
So what if it's been 25 years? Here's a new episode, So I kind of went with that aspect of it's been a while. Here's a new episode.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Narrator is kind of pointing out, little Johnny, he's just the cynicism dressed up as non-threatening, just kind of sets that perfect, tone right there. Just this, so long to the unblemished skins. Hello to the pimple-ridden leather hide or something like that.
the pimple-ridden leather that curses his ever-pocked hide. I love alliteration, and I love the contempt that he has for little Johnny.
Yep, what an abomination! For some reason, little Johnny thinks he's better than all of us.
God. And of course, I love the WrestleMania shirt. That's a great touch.
That was all Paul. He brought that with him, and he's just like, okay, so I got two shirts, and one was just like a regular blank shirt, and the other one was WrestleMania. He goes, what do you think? I go, the WrestleMania shirt, dude, you're a man-child. He goes, okay, cool.
Yeah, totally. It totally fits the tone for the man-child thing, for sure.
Yeah.
Again, it's just kind of taking a really interesting stab at kind of like the audience 30 years later, too, in a sense. I don't know.
No, absolutely. I'm totally mocking the audience in this, saying this is what you guys are.
I can own it. Honestly,
exactly. It's just like I'm feeling attacked here. It's like, good, you should be.
Yeah,
you've been to a convention. I'm making fun of you. It doesn't matter whether you paid to go or you were asked to go. I'm making fun of you.
I've had self-esteem issues with a lot of stuff, but I've honestly always kind of been pretty self-confident about my man-childness, just because it's just kind of who I am.
There's at this point.
Yeah, there's not really a lot I can do to change it. It's pretty ingrained into my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right, so because he can no longer hear my voice, be it drugs or lack thereof, he's turned his back on all he's known and loved. Or is he a big fat jerk?
God.
Just great writing. It just feels exactly like, again, just overall, that's what I really love about this too. Is just the fact that, again, it feels like the first 2 seasons of Ren and Stimpy before we kind of soften things with games, animation, and everything. It feels like, the real full tilt kind of stuff. It was unafraid to go, again, the push beyond the veil, which brings us to the darker aspects of it, and the cynical aspects, but still dresses it up as kind of golden fresh as it was. It's kind of the setting, like Powdered Toast Man emerges, which we'll be getting to soon. Yeah. All right, so we meet the wife, played by the great Lindsay Bean.
Somehow little Johnny leveled up, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he lucked out on that one. I have no idea.
Right.
So she's very simple task. She's asking John to clean the closet. So and this is real. I completely forgot about this until the rewatch. Said, oh, she's going to donate the stuff. She's going to donate it to the less fortunate. That's kind of nice.
Well, I needed a reason for the whole story to go into motion, but I didn't want her to be like a nagging wife and go, John, you promised to clean the closet. It's like, babe, we're going to be donating. Can you get it done? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Really appreciate it. They had a nice, healthy marriage. It was nice.
Exactly.
Until she, dies. But yeah.
Everything was going great until she died, Doctor.
Yeah.
And all went to shit after that.
All right, so he cleans the closet because he's a good boy. Then he finds, one of the great props. He finds the powdered toast can.
I'm bummed out about the shape of the powdered toast can. I will admit that. I really wanted to get something that was a little bit more cylindrical, but I had already printed out the label first, assuming I could just slap it on like a Horton's or Morton's salt, which is Horton's or Morton's salt, and it didn't fit. And I'm like, shit. So I went to like the dollar store to look for cylindrical cans or canisters, and I wasn't having any luck. And then I saw the fat wide one. I'm like, well, I could fit that. So I just went with maybe he got like he bought brand. Powdered toast in bulk.
Yeah, exactly. Bulk. That's all right. It's the better.
The value pack.
Yeah. It went to the Costco version of that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, honestly, I look past that because you just get the 50s logo printed out.
The label just looks so
I made that from scratch.
That looks so good. I think that's safe. That's like, if that distracts from the fact that, it's a different container, but look at that. It's just right, though. It's the same brand. So then he opens it up. Powdered Toast Man appears, and it's Tom.
Had to get the right hand motions too. Yeah,
we filmed that shit 3 times. That scene was shot 3 times on 3 different days because the first time that we shot was with the motion capture mask that we didn't end up using, and then I made a new mask out of foam, which actually, by the way, had a second piece of bread on it. The first one was a single slice.
God! Oh
yeah,
no!
So it was. I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? If I'm going to do a new mask, I might as well make them, a sandwich instead of a single slice. Yeah. So I made the second one.
That was a good call. It makes it even better. You need that second slice.
I know. I realized it. And so I put it in there. So for the second one we shot, but I had just gotten a new wide angle lens, a macro lens. I'm like, well, this would be good for that particular shot. And I used it and we filmed again, but it was out of focus. That one scene was out of focus. So we had to have him come over a third time just to reshoot that one. And I literally was going to be shooting something later that day. Also, like what did I film after Powdered Toast Man? What came out? Like,
it wasn't. Was it Power Bubbles? No.
It's out already. I've released some. Whatever the hell. I'm gonna now go to my damn channel and find out.
Wait, was Big Barda after Powdered Toast Man or before?
No. Barda was definitely before because it was balls ass hot when we were shooting.
Right.
Oh no, it was. I think it was Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. So yeah. So I released Powdered Toast Man, and then I filmed Powdered Toast Man, and then I was going to be filming, I think, Powerpuff Girls. No, we were doing something else.
We were doing something else.
I think I might have been working on my comic book at the time.
Yeah, that was a comic book.
Yeah, I was working on my comic book, so I was double booking and shit, but I had to get him in and out and get it all done before everybody came over, and I had a lot of shit to do that day. It was annoying, but we did it.
Yeah. So, again, just with the look of like the gold, the gold powder, the gold paint for the powdered toast and everything is the extra mile, and also on Tom's face, and just again, the big anticipation I was like, how the heck is he going to pull off the head on Powdered Toast Man? And just seeing it again, its full glory, it looks great. And again, that's what I love about Blinky Productions. They always go right off the page and to the screen. Again, whether it be Mad Harriet or Powdered Toast Man, it just looks like, oh my god, it's right off the screen. This is what we need to do more of. We can't shy away from it. We just got to do it.
Yeah, I guarantee if like the CW wanted to do like Powdered Toast Man or something, he'd
Oh
probably
God! Oh, don't even get
come
me
out
started.
and just be like a guy with like some glitter in his hair. And it'd probably be like,
Oh my God!
Just be a Canadian with gold hair.
a Canadian, but it'd be like a 120-pound Canadian with a streak of gold in his hair, and he'd have like maybe like one blue
Be
glove.
shirtless half the time.
Shirtless half the time.
Be
Yeah,
like
I mean that's like the
Instagram
only
model
accurate part of the
for
costume.
career. That'd be like his career.
Yeah.
Like he'd literally like Powdered Toast Man would literally just be his Instagram handle.
Exactly. Yeah, and he'd be like, "I'm a baker." It's like, what do you do for a living? I'm a baker. I call myself Powdered Toast Man. I think, you talk like this, have like a Keanu Reeves style voice or something.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like every day making bread for people and they're just walking over you. I am the Powdered Toast Man because it's just crumbs. That's my life. Crummy.
Crumbling under my feet.
Oh dear God! Oh.
All right, so
Powdered Toast Man coming this fall, right after Riverdale.
Yep. Season 5, kids. So,
Yep.
anyway, one of the great Paul's reaction always kills me here. The holy Jesus line, the way his eyes just get all big and everything, just like the angle. Powdered Toast Man, holy Jesus!
Yeah.
No matter where he's at, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's the best thing.
It's great. He just keeps popping up everywhere. So just again with the performance, because Tom's here. So with the performance, just the enthusiasm and the off-putting love for little Johnny just absolutely just sells the charm of Powdered Toast Man. Just gets the I think he did Gary Owen's proud, sir. I think he just did an excellent job in bringing all that enthusiasm to the forefront.
Well, the thing I love about whether it's Powdered Toast Man or the Tick, it's they believe in everything that they're doing.
Totally.
If they're not 100% serious, the joke is completely lost. I mean, that's why I was raised on Monty Python and stuff like that. And the only way that joke will play is if
you have to have conviction.
You have to. It has to be serious. And what he says, he believes it 100%. He loves little Johnny, and he's going to save little Johnny.
So, two things. Okay, one, Tom's performance is so good that it makes me think that he willed those sound effects into the performance. Silly as that sounds, because the other thing, I just love it's a great marriage of things. Well, that one too. That one I know was him. I'm talking about like the posing and the swish sounds. Like it's Of course, there's one moment that I tip my hat to, which is it's the most beautifully realized moment of Powdered Toast Man in the entire short. It happens when he's basically Powdered Toast Man is thinking, he's reacting to what Johnny's telling him. We have the face and the fart sound. That to me, that was the moment where I was like, oh my, I'm bowing down like that. Oh my God, they brought him. It's Powdered Toast Man fully just off the first appearance.
I know that they put fart sounds in for random movements in the cartoon because I was watching that and I'm like, he has to have that. So I wanted that anytime he goes through something significant, there's a sound effect. And I love the idea that when he just has some thought, it's just his thought process is a fart.
So I was already happy up to that point. I got that. I was like, this is everything I could possibly ask for with this. They did it. Yeah. Got it right there. It's even though we're not doing the superimposing thing, his face animated like it was in that moment, timed to that sound effect. That's great.
And I didn't notice that until Chris showed me a rough draft of it, and it's like, did you right when my eyes go up, it's that beat. He's thinking for a second.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I love those little sound effects, like the swooshing of the hand or the fart sound or just the squeaker at later on in the film. It's just they're so funny and it's like
I also had some sparkles come out your ass too.
I know. I was hoping for more sparkles all around me, but it wasn't meant to be.
I tried doing it. I just didn't have any luck with post to try and actually make you sparkle.
I needed to sparkle more, Chris.
It wasn't.
I imagine the shoulder thing would have been
Sparkle,
impossible to
sparkle.
pull off.
Well, I did. One thing I did though was in all your shots, they're overly saturated with a hue and a soft focus, whereas little Johnny doesn't have it. But your shots specifically look like if someone were, high and they're looking at you, it would look a little bit unnatural. But as you know, the movie progressively changes.
Yeah, like the one where Paul is looking up at me and I'm like in ecstasy,
gleaming,
grasping his head.
Yeah,
yes, that was that we did several takes of that one, and it's just like I think it went more and more over the top, and he's just in ecstasy and rubbing Paul's head, and then when we had to refilm it, I was rubbing Chris's head.
No, you were holding my hand.
No, I was holding your hand
because I'm filming.
Yeah,
so
I
like
had to put my hands down there, like I'm. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah,
I was.
Very intimate day on set.
Becoming intimate with a number of people. Yes.
We get Tom check for STDs with every movie.
That's true. That's true. I take the spit test, and then they do the finger and everything. So it's so cool.
So the other thing I rewatched for this, I rewatched the Waffle Woman episode, and that's because I watched it because I found out. Oh yeah, that's exactly where little Johnny is.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that the whole story of little Johnny is, he let him down with his visit with the president because he ran to him he flew to him too fast, and basically the president turned to like dust in his hands, and it was like the big ethical thing of like, I failed little Johnny, which is why he's so hung up on the kid. It's like, because I failed him that one time. To make up for it. Just love the end. Yeah, you don't have to factor that in the episode, but if you do, it just adds like there's the PTSD. That's why he's so attached to little Johnny. Just the love in the voice. Well, if it isn't little Johnny, my, how you've grown.
And I love Chris's dialogue because some of it, there's always going to be at least one given line where I'm trying to get the words in my mouth, like, your soft, supple flesh leather. I mean, Kick had a very similar line, like grasping into the bosom of it.
I feel like Powder Toast Man and Tick's dialect is very similar.
It is very similar. I mean, it's the same guy reading a line, so finding diversity is definitely a tough one in that. But those two characters are embellishers. I find, at least we all know Tick is an embellisher because he loves monologuing and pontificating. But with Powder Toast Man, I kind of felt that it's because he is a passionate character. When he's passionate, he will go over the top, I feel. So, yeah. But I wanted him to just say words that were alien to us. Like phrases that you when you hear that, you're like, hey, bro, what's going on with you? And so soft, supple flesh leather, I thought was a way to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of like channeling my inner Buffalo Bill.
Is he going to fuck him? Is he going to eat him? Is he going to eat him?
It's just the fact that he doesn't pick up on any of it. He just doesn't. He's not thinking about what he's saying. He's just going.
He's in complete ecstasy when he's saying what he's saying. I mean, it's the licking of the lips and the eyes rolling back in his head. And he's like, the more he talks, the more he's into what he's saying. And just poor Paul's head is just, it was
skull fucking him.
Yeah, I was
pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh god. So we established that he thinks he's hallucinating. It's like 10 years in a mental institution to get over the Powder Toast Man of it all. I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it. So of course, then Powder Toast Man does the thinking fart, which is hilarious. You've lost your way, little Johnny, of the real meaning of powdered toast. And then we have, I think the most brilliant thing on the rewatch is, I was working on the writing, is that we have the iconic line, the poster line, if you will, leave everything to me, which just develops this dark context slowly but surely as it keeps going. And I just love that it just keeps, there's like an arc to it. I love it. So he puts the lid on, he flees, and of course can't escape. And Powder Toast Man in the bathroom, Powder Toast Man! And he's going with the pose and everything. It's the dramatic
entry. I had the song start in the exact same spot each time because I wanted him just be repeating himself. to the point of ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Then we have the pills gag cracks me up. Like, why sit in the bathroom out for the pills? But it's just like, oh, Johnny, it's worse than I thought. Time for an intervention. A powdered toast intervention.
God. I just love how this guy, it's like this powdered toast is just his religion, it's his meaning of life, it's his everything. It's like
literally, it's his whole being.
Well, it's kind of like that video, Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life.
Yeah, oh no, it totally is. Yeah, kind of like that for sure.
Yeah, I want to dethrone Shrek with powdered toast, man.
That would be good. I'd be on board for that.
Yeah.
So I just love that he's just trying to help his lost little friend with just no self-awareness at all, and it's just... I also gave credit with our set because we haven't really talked about it. Notarile's home, very lovely. I'm not just saying it because he's here, but it's the fact that I really have like the Marvel covers on the wall. Yeah,
I thank you. I had so much controversy painting those walls that color because Lindsay was just like, don't paint them green, it's dark and depressing. And then my neighbor came in and she's just like, I love the color, it's just so nice. I go, thank you. And everyone sees the wall and they're like, thank you. And I'm like, that's what you get, Lindsay, that's what you get for doubting the guy who went to art school, the guy who knows how to paint. She's here, by the way, she's listening to me right now.
Hey.
She's in her world. All right.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I always love just like the idea that Halloween decorations are out 24/7. I wish I could do that. I just love that you actually manage that and it looks cool. And you have like Michael Myers mask and everything. Anyway, I'm fanboying over the set. Anyway, so let's see. So little Johnny starts to panic. He starts to have a breakdown. And again, we have the great... I just love that you pulled from the sound library and kind of the Nickelodeon kind of library of score as well.
I have this file, this folder actually of cartoony sound effects that I got when I was doing my Mask short film. And they're all like the classic Hanna-Barbera Looney Tunes sound effects. So I just, unfortunately, none of them are labeled. It's just sound effect one, sound effect. And I haven't taken the time to listen to each and all of them and label them. So I'm going through each one, listening to it until I find something that I want, and then I throw it in there. But yeah, I was specifically going through the old school sound effects on purpose.
Yeah, we have like them sliding in the frame. Yoop. You know, not doing any justice there. I'm not the guy from Police Academy, so forget me. But yeah, it's anyway. So, then we have the giant powder toast man bulge, which AJ Zyla says the bulge was perfect. LOL. And again, then we have like feel the warm embrace of my powdered toast, son. You know, the fibers of my bosom are pressing against your soft, supple flesh.
Leather.
Yeah, flesh, right. Sorry, flesh leather. That's love, little Johnny. When's the last time you truly felt loved?
All right, so the line after that, I stole that one from John Mulaney. I thought it was funny and I liked it. It was, when was the last time you walked into a room and someone was actually happy to see you?
So perfect.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I want to just go that distance. And I'm like, I'm taking, because he did that in an SNL bit and I thought it was really funny. Just the idea of singling a person out and saying, when was the last time someone was happy to see you walk into a room? And I'm like, damn, that's a deep cut right there.
It is, yeah.
That line just kind of sets the... I don't just want to say sets the tone so many times, but it's where you're hitting like that early Ren and Stimpy, like, okay, we're really leaning into the screwed up yet funny, stuff there. It's really
very much the mean-spirited humor of it all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's very cynical and very bitter humor.
Yeah. So let's see, the powdered toast man always will be.
That is the most.
Oh, by the way, one of the best performance beats. It's very subtle, but just the random licking of the lips.
Well, it's funny you should say that because that was obviously one of the retakes where I had to come over here and work with Chris, and I'm literally right in front of you, and he's like 2 feet away from me.
Yeah,
and it's like. He kept doing it, and we did it multiple times, and it just seemed like the more we did it, the more outrageous it became.
Usually in acting, the first take is usually the most conservative of takes because you're still either learning the dialogue or you're doing the scene with somebody and you're getting familiar with it. But when you do it over and over again, then you get comfortable, you've rehearsed, and then there's room for experimentation and shit gets wild, after the first take. So I rarely use the first take in many instances.
Especially when it's something like way over the top.
Well, comedy specifically,
Yeah.
you never really use the first take in comedy.
All right, let's see. So then we rebuff Powder Toast Man. Like, I'm not crazy anymore. I'm not little Johnny. I'm 6'4". It's just John. Now, this bit cracks me up in the delivery.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this might be the best gut punch of the whole thing. Just John.
See, Tom does this thing,
The
especially
slow processing. Just this, like he's trying to come to terms with it, but he just can't.
Yeah.
Tom does this thing all the time, especially in the Tick. His hand gestures kill me every time. He's like patting like American Made like on the shoulder. He doesn't quite know where. It's like an in the moment thing with his hands. And he's doing like the little. He's cowering like a boy for a mother. But John, the timing is flawless.
Oh man.
And I will credit where credit is due. I give Chris a lot of credit because it's like, he's like egging me on. He's like, come to me. And it's like, then we've talked about this character a lot. And plus, luckily, I was able to drag Chris and his lovely wife out to see. I'm doing a show right now. So I love working on stage. And when you work on stage a lot, it gives you a chance to really kind of refine your timing.
He's playing Dr. Frankenfooter in Rocky Horror.
Nice.
Oh, perfect.
So, when you get to be on stage, it helps you refine your timing. And so when you're just one-on-one with the director, you start to be able to feel certain beats. And honestly, Chris and I have a very similar sense of humor.
And when you work with somebody
Yeah.
for so long, Tom and I have been working
Yeah.
together since 2017, basically. So we have a familiarity with A, who we are as people, B, our senses of humors, and then C, our cadences and what either of us would either find funny or would be good. So, and I like that. I've had that with other actors before. And that's why, if you notice, I work with a lot of the same people over and over again. And each time I work with them, it gets progressively better because I understand them, they understand me, and we're able to anticipate the other one's needs in this symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, you picked up on the rhythms after working together
big time,
so often.
big
Yeah.
time. Whether they're like serious or more over the top, it's a good director, a good writer, which I truly believe Chris is he's able to pick up on beats. He's able to he knows where my strengths are, and so he can help me play to them.
Yeah, I know exactly when I'm looking at Tom and I'm filming him when he
my
can
God.
either exaggerate something and ham it up for the camera. What is something that we did like when we were doing the Tick?
We did something, and then we're like, the minute we got done with it, we're like, go back and watch that again because we both started laughing.
Was it in the first one or the second one?
I think it was the first one. We were up on the roof. And it's like, quick, go back and watch that again. And we went back and watched it. And
was it the reaction when Deflator Mouse?
Yes.
So the first time when we were doing that and everything, like, we're with Deflator Mouse, we're following up the stairs, and then he sees the Tick whips around, and the way that we had done it, the reaction and everything, just the go, oh my God, he fucking saw me type thing. We knew exactly immediately how to embellish that and make that better. He knew, and I didn't have to say anything at that point for the most part. So yeah, it helps.
Yeah. All right, so Little Johnny's, he's convinced the Powdered Toast Man is a figment of his imagination. He's happily married. He's going to go upstairs and take his meds. So he's like, he's done with this shit.
Well, I want to point out that he says he's 30-something and happily married, but like he doesn't. He goes, I have a wife, but he doesn't say like his wife's name, and the wife is not credited with the name, and he doesn't even know his actual age because he's 30-something. I thought that was kind of funny to keep that nondescript.
Huh.
No, I did notice the 30-something thing. Yeah, that was,
I'm 30-something and happily married.
Right.
I have a wife, and I didn't want him to say. It's one of those like, I have a wife and 2 daughters. What are their names? I don't fucking know.
They're adorable.
It's kind of like the twisted logic of like, hey, what's more real? He knows everything about Powdered Toast Man, yet
Oh God, yeah.
yet not so much. I mean, Powdered Toast Man might have a twisted point if you look at it that way.
Well, it's the existential dread of am I, which I've explored in my Rick and Morty short. You know, you don't exist before the movie started.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is definitely broaching that realm of existentialism where he goes, I'm 30 something. It's like, why don't you say your actual age, Johnny?
What was that? Suicidal Cindy?
Suicidal Cindy.
That's what I thought. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Call back.
Yes. Right. So we have a moment, this great moment. Speaking of reactions, so we have a moment where Powdered Toast Man. Oh, and I love this too. This, and then the fart thinking moment. I think it's like some of the great Powdered Toast Man things. Where it's Powdered Toast Man, he looks the camera with the third chilling. Leave everything. It's more mischievous before it turns really dark. Leave everything to me. Then, of course, the wife enters looking for John, and like, you talking to somebody? Finds Powdered Toast Man, and that confirms to us, the audience, he's real. Who? And this is the terror on her. Always struck me on the rewatch. Like, who are you?
I wanted when he whipped around. I didn't want a sound effect for that. I wanted that silent turn, and it's almost like if you ever saw Ace Ventura 2, where he's masturbating in the hut, and then the guy walks in on him. He goes, ah! You know, like he just covers himself up instantly. I wanted that moment of him just whipping around, like who's there type thing.
Right.
And then, of course, when he starts screaming at her.
Sucks out all the air in the room on that one. Of course, we have this great cut. So, and again, we also had like the dramatic, again, the cartoon sounds here, like da da da, the big dramatic music underscoring the horror of Powdered Toast Man, the woman who did this to my little Johnny. In essence,
He's the corrupter. Yes.
All right. So John takes his meds. Seems to work. No Powdered Toast Man everywhere he turns. But then he goes downstairs. I got to tell you, when I heard this scene somewhat described, I always thought this, and more so the next scene, because it was going to be set at night because because of the lighting of because of the police setting. I always kind of thought it was going to be at night, but that was just my own. Those are the mind's eye.
I kind of wanted it at night, but I was working with schedules.
No, sure, that's cool. I mean, but is it desaturated because it's supposed to be like getting later though? Is that, or is it just like kind of an aesthetic thing?
Both. It's supposed to be a little bit later, but I wanted, the movie was getting dark figuratively, so I wanted the movie to get dark literally, and I wanted all the color as soon as he walks down those stairs to be just completely washed out. Now you're in reality.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh shit.
It's a little like the toast is not as golden as it was in the beginning.
Well, the shine on Powdered Toast Man is now gone, and he's bathed in blood.
Yep, and he's wearing like kind of like this bib or short apron that is now blood covered. It's like American Psycho.
I went to the dollar store and I go, "Do you guys sell aprons?" And they go, "Oh yeah." And I go to the art section and I get the apron. I go home, I open it up, and it's like for a child. Yeah. And I'm like, God damn it! Of course it is. So I put it on him, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And it looked like a bib, but you could now take that any way you want. Maybe it was a bib, and maybe he did eat the wife, like unhinged his jaw, like Pennywise style, and just swallowed her up, or he murdered her and hacked her to pieces. Like, it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, or he's like, I like the idea if it is just like a straight apron, which I mean pretty much is. Like he's so big, it's like the regular apron looks so tiny on this giant powdered.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so you're right, yeah. So anyway, you slice it, bread pun, but anyway. Okay, so I always have this great thing. Johnny's kind of like, oh, there he is again, and what are you still doing here? Where's my wife? I saved you, little Johnny. Is that blood?
Oh God!
He moves in slowly. I love the opposites of the scene: the utter calm, and then the other sense of panic in his world crumbling around him with the music.
I made sure I only used music from Ren and Stimpy, so that is from Ren and Stimpy. I don't remember what episode it was from, but I was going through like 5 seasons worth of studio music, and I listened to every single track because I wanted to make sure I got the exact theme for Powdered Toast Man. And the problem is, this stuff is not like cataloged anywhere. There's not like names of songs. Because I typed in Powdered Toast Man theme, and no one had the name of the damn song that was used. So it was annoying as all hell going through those those tracks, but I found them, and when I came upon this track, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like a lament, and I love it.
Yeah. See, the only way I've been able to find that music is the Nick shows. A lot of them, again, it kind of goes into some sort of library. So basically, all the SpongeBob music has been used in Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's. I want to say Rocko's Modern Life as well. Like those three shows kind of have like this. They're all put in the same library. I mean, kudos for finding it the way you did, though. I mean,
it's actually on YouTube.
Yeah.
You type in like Ren and Stimpy studio score or studio music, and like you get like all these albums. And I just sat there and had to listen to each and every one of them until I got the right songs that I wanted.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did, because it adds again, it makes it feel again fitting like a well-worn glove. Like, okay, that's exactly what it feels like watching Ren and Stimpy.
It's not the place for Smash Mouth, you know. You need something that's more subtle.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, like it's okay. He's just coming. Basically, Johnny just kind of falls to pieces here. I just will be pieced together. Oh, he's pieced the toast together, so to speak. He's just sickened and he's grieving. He's just like he's so despondent and sad. He's about to be sick. Just the horror that he just felt like, oh God, my reality is crumbling. My wife's been possibly eaten or killed or something horrible's happened to her. It's like, it's okay, little Johnny. Leave everything to me. It's like, oh God, it's just as this catchphrase. I just love it.
It could have ended right there, honestly.
Could have, but then you wouldn't have. So I guess later or the next morning, however you want to slice it.
Sometime later.
Yes, sometime later. We have this. I thought was a brilliant ending, Chris. I'm so happy it ended this way. It was just you have the spawn because you had it would have been wrong had he not gotten the powdered toast. You need to see it.
I know.
So we have a despondent John on the couch, and we just have he's being served powdered on a really nice plate. This little accoutrement, like it was a nice plate. Serve the powdered toast, which looks very on brand. It looks very brown and golden, and it gives the iconic fart on the powdered toast.
Mm-hmm. I had to squeeze that one out. I had to make sure it was on point, and it was.
So did you CG that toast in, or like how do you make it fly about like the way it does when he did the thing?
Oh, that was very easy. I have these templates, these overlays that I use for my movies, like muzzle flashes and fire and explosions, and this was a spark. So it's like
nice.
a little bit of fireworks that went off, and I just slapped that on there, and I cut out the spark part and just had the embers that shot out from the actual spark itself.
Cool.
And then with I do love that scene, and I remember when we were filming it. You were mentioning earlier with the hands, and thank you for noticing little things, because I love putting my hands on his shoulder, and I do that kind of roll with my fingers, where it starts with the pinky and goes all the way to the index, and you get that from like, God, I don't even know where I picked it up from. Actors steal from everybody, honestly. Yeah. And it just, I love the slowness and the deliberateness of it, and just roll the fingers on. And once again, leave everything to me. And it just, and the great thing is, every time I get to say that line, it's different. It gets to be different. It works into something else.
Well, the first time you said it was more heroic, the standard way. Yep. The second time was the same way. Third time is aggressive. Leave everything to me. And then the fourth time you say it is cynical. Oh, little Johnny, leave everything to me. And then the fifth time that you say it is after you kill, leave everything to me. It's all good. And then finally, the sixth time you say it is just dead. Like, leave everything to me.
Yeah, I love how protective it is, though. I just love how it's like
little Johnny.
Yep, he won out at the end of the day. That powdered toast, man. He got little Johnny eating that powdered toast. You have the police outside.
Oh my God, I'm telling you, Chris and I sat there and laughed at that. It's like, because Paul's totally straight face and will sit there and eat the entire piece of toast.
And it was supposed to be a single take. I want it to be a single take after that point. Yeah, with the exception of the placing of the toast itself, I wanted just a single shot and have the credits roll over him. So we had to account for a couple of things for that shot. Obviously, we couldn't laugh or move around because the camera's tripoded. Actually, Lindsay was sitting on the couch right next to Paul while that was happening, and I actually ended up seeing her in frame, so I had to map that out So thankfully I was able to pull that one off. And then, he was just eating the toast and whatnot. And I actually had to dub the sound effects for him eating because we were laughing.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then just because I would come back behind and I get to watch what Chris is seeing, and just we got the same demented sense of humor. And we're sitting there watching. We're just watching a grown man eat toast
3 times. We just gave him 3 slices of toast, and he's just going for it.
And every single time we're laughing the same amount at it. And Paul's like, "Well, I could eat the whole toast if you want me to." And we're, yeah, eat the whole thing. And we're just sitting here watching
Andy Kaufman-esque,
eat
is to eat the toast.
Yeah, it was just hilarious. I mean, totally straight face, deadpan stare straight ahead.
The only thing that would have made it funnier is if we actually did shoot at night and I was able to get the lights reflecting from the cop cars. Sure. That was the only thing that would have helped, because I wanted to do some light jokes literal light jokes where you had the red and blue lights flashing on his face, and then for the explosion you'd see like an actual like yellow hue like illuminate and go away. But because it was in broad daylight, it didn't work out.
Sure.
But that's okay. And that was all done and just with like I've been doing radio plays lately, so
I thought that was the inspiration.
Well, I realized I needed to. I knew I was going to have those sound effects, and I was not going to show any of that. I don't have cop cars. I don't have SWAT. So I'm like, well, I've been editing radio plays now for the last like year, if not longer. So this should be pretty easy to do. So it was
John Slater one practically,
Yeah. So I just started, just did that and everything, and it was funny. I wanted to have like all the Wilhelm screams in there and whatnot, and just hear him massacring these people. And if you think about it, the implication, you have this giant toast person slaughtering a SWAT team outside the house on the front lawn, while a guy is just inside eating toast to this happy-go-lucky, music.
You, the one with the powdered toast for
head. It was you there with bread for head.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't even see a head, just bread for head. How do you respond to that? It's a guy with bread for head. I don't know.
And again, I just love the focus was where it needed to be, though. Where again, it's all about, this is what Powdered Toast Man's imperative is. It's to make sure the kids eat their breakfast, eat their powdered toast.
Yeah,
it's like just the twisted comfort of like this demented genie of a superhero. It's like making sure here's your wish come true with the breakfast. I'm gonna take care of everything else. Just enjoy it.
No, I'll murder a handful of SWAT team. You just eat that toast I farted on.
And again, the music choice with Happy Go Lively. I mean, the one I know it from is like the Squidville episode of SpongeBob with the canned bread, which I mean, which
No, it's definitely Happy Go Lively, and I was just listening to that, and it's that 1950s Americana style music that they would play during like the Home of the Future.
Yep, which again fits perfectly, which is kind of the brand recognition of powdered toast and what that whole commercial gag is kind of indicative of. It just it works, yeah. Yep, it's just oh god, just little Johnny eating that powdered toast. That's what it's all about right there.
And in many ways, had he not cleaned out that closet and just kept watching TV, none of this would have happened.
Crazy, I love it. Oh, it's wonderful. All right, so that brings us to the end. I guess, well, before we go, we definitely want to shout out the oncoming venture for Blinky Productions that's going to premiere this week.
Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. midnight, 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time, midnight East Coast time, I'll be premiering my new Powerpuff Girls short film. If you're upset about, the CW,
the disaster,
as we all are,
and you would like to just watch someone make something about the Powerpuff Girls who actually knows something about the Powerpuff Girls, watch my short. I promise you, there's no slut shaming, and there is no cynicism, and the girls love each other, and it's none of that crap. It's just
Professor Utonium is a nice guy.
He's a nice guy who didn't whore out his three little daughters and profit from them.
He doesn't have like a stupid name like Drake.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell they got that. His name is Eugene. His name is Eugene Utonium. Like, come on.
All right, so yeah, really excited about that. Definitely check that out, guys.
And then also we're going to be doing a Space Ghost movie.
Yes. The link is in the description for that, for the GoFundMe. If you missed out on that conversation, we geeked out about the prospects of it for a good straight 10 minutes at the start of this. So
yeah. Oh, and I'm also doing Spider Gwen, a Gwen Stacy Spider Girl movie.
Something
nice.
very. Chris, tell them about the really exciting thing you revealed about it today. The thing, the new character that you.
Oh yes, today we released the image of the big bad, which is Matt Murdock, the King of New York. Now, if you know anything about Earth 65, Matt Murdock, formerly Daredevil, in this universe actually is the Kingpin after Wilson Fisk gets arrested. So he starts out as Fisk's lawyer and is his basic, apprentice. And then when Fisk goes away to prison, he takes over. So he's got all of Daredevil's abilities. He was trained by the Hand, except he's a bad guy.
Oh, sold. Completely
I know.
sold.
Yeah, he and I were very huge Daredevil fans. This is amazing.
You get to see Daredevil be a big fucking dick.
Yeah.
He's a big dick in this.
Dragon, I was actually just watching the church fight from season 3 today.
Really?
Randomly. Yeah.
Cool. I can't tell you how many times I keep watching him going up against Fisk at the end of season. I beat you! Anyway, that whole thing. So also, a big thanks to AJ's out, not just for tuning in, but also making all this fun happen. I mean,
this would not have happened without him. If you have problems with the movie, take it up with AJ.
Sure.
Yeah.
Send your therapy bills to that
throwing
man.
him under the bus.
Tom, you got anything to promote? Any social media or anything you want
You'd like to say to the kids out there?
If anybody is around the San Clemente area for the next 2 weekends, I'll be playing Frankenfurter.
There you go.
So, he's a sweet transvestite, and I get to play with the audience, and we've been selling out shows. So it's nice to have live theater again, honestly. So
yeah,
at the Cabrillo Playhouse. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30, and Sunday at 2:00.
All right. Well, Tom, thanks so much for coming on. It was a great surprise. Wonderful conversation here, guys. I had a lot of fun with this. Have a good night, everyone. See y'all later. And by all means, please check out that link. Get Space Ghost funded. We need it. All right. Have a good night, everyone. See y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Ghost Man!